I am a residential builder, but we are definitely not at a residential house. In fact, we're at a local university in the Silicon Valley, and this is where my wife works. In fact, my wife's office is on the very top floor of this relatively new building. Now, this story comes to you basically directly from my wife. Now, what you have to know about my wife's office is that it's at the top floor at the corner. So she has two walls that are on the exterior of the building, and both of those walls are wrapped in redwood. Now, we live in a place where there's redwood trees that are 200 feet tall, and this building kind of looks like a redwood tree. So the story today starts with some conversations that I had with my wife on the phone.
Hello?
Hey babe, what's going on?
Oh, hey babe.
What is that sound?
What?
What is that sound?
Well, the stupid woodpeckers.
I can't hear you.
Can you talk a little louder?
Yeah, I can talk louder, but I'm just wondering, how many are there?
Can I call you back?
Yeah, I would just guess so. I'll just talk to you.
Wait, what?
Yeah, call me back from your cell phone when you're not in your office.
Okay. I think you said call me back. I can't really hear you. Okay. Bye.
All right, bye. Now, these were not normal conversations because my wife sounded like she was in a war zone. There was like this tat, 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 which literally sounded like she was in the middle of a war being shot at. And what was actually the case is that the woodpeckers were pecking holes in the siding up above on this really protected area of the building. And because my wife's office has two walls that are on the exterior, she had woodpeckers on both walls, rat-tat-tatting for hours and hours and hours a day. So she's in there trying to pay attention, trying to have phone conversations or to study or to get ready for student meetings, and the woodpeckers are going crazy. Now, the woodpeckers around here are called acorn woodpeckers, and these woodpeckers are unique in that what they do is they pick up acorns and then they go to a tree and they rat-tat-tat a hole, and then they shove the acorn into the hole. And what happens is in a normal tree is bugs come into the acorns, they start eating the acorns, and then later on the woodpecker comes back, pulls out what's left of the acorn and eats that fat bug, and that's how they get their food. During the whole portion of the year, these acorn woodpeckers are bunching holes in trees and buildings and shoving acorns in so that they have enough food for the winter. Well, they were doing that with my wife's building. Now the problem is that the wood siding actually has a gap behind it called a rain screen. And that gap is to allow water to drain out of the building so that when the water hits the siding, it's gonna get through and then it's gonna drain out. So now the building is protected from the sun and from the rain, but not the woodpeckers. Because now what happened is the woodpeckers are shoving the acorns through the holes, and the acorns are falling down the rain screen, which has support behind it. So it sounds like a plinka machine, like one of those machines where you put the ball and it goes ding, 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 ding. And that's happening all day long, hundreds of times a day. So my wife is working in an arcade. So what ended up happening was this went on for years, and they finally put these sonic detectors that basically look at when birds are coming and then send out this ultrasonic sound, which is supposed to drive the birds away. As you can tell, the building up behind me still has woodpecker holes in it. But the worst part is that in the middle of the winter time, when we had this huge rain, all of those acorns had been stored up in that wall for years, and they hadn't taken them out. And then they started to sprout. So they started to get bigger and sprout, and they blew all of the siding off of the bottom 30 feet of this wall. And so what you ended up with was a bunch of siding all over the bottom of this building with acorns everywhere. What do we learn from this? Well, first of all, if you build your building and you surround it in wood and it looks like a tree, expect some acorn woodpeckers. And if you build it where there's no people going by and so there's nothing to scare the acorn woodpeckers off, then expect more woodpeckers. We have to be intelligent about when we use materials on the outside of a building. If we're gonna use wood, and don't get me wrong, I love wood, but woodpeckers love wood so that they can bury their acorns there. I think what we've discovered is that we really have to pay attention to the ecosystem that our buildings are built in. And here's the funniest thing, is this building is actually the veterinary medicine building. So really not a great way to end a video. If you want to know more about acorn woodpeckers or earthbound homes, please subscribe as we show you how to build a better way.